The aim of the method we are going to present is to facilitate understanding and drastically reduce the time needed to learn the multiplication tables. For this, taking the communicative property as the base, quick multiply will reduce to the maximum the number of elements which have to be memorized. As you can see, the traditional multiplication tables are anti-communicative. They compel the pupil to memorize numerical series, doubly repetitive, and without the pupil realizing it. We only use the communicative property in the case of one mistake in memorizing. For example, if the pupil makes a mistake multiplying 9 times 3, we can help him or her by saying that 3 times 9 is the same. With quick multiply, each multiplication table begins with its square number. The 3 times table with 3 times 3 in this way successively until you reach the 9 times table, which will be constituted solely by 9 times 9. This makes the multiplication tables unequal or asymmetrical, not only inasmuch as the number of elements, but also inasmuch as in its distribution, which strengthens even further visual memory. You must also take into account that the fact that the tables are each time smaller, it is very gratifying for the child and makes his or her predisposition towards learning easier, avoiding errors in memorizing caused by pure fatigue or boredom. With quick multiply, the pupil captures the communicative property from the beginning of learning and not at the end, which is what happens with the traditional method, which is when the mistakes of memorizing appear due to fatigue or boredom. So, for example, for a child who studies with quick multiply, 9 times 7 does not pertain to the 9 times tables, but to the 7 times tables. The base of the quick multiply method, that's to say, the base for the comprehension of all the multiplication tables, is the 2 times table. Before studying multiplication, the pupil has studied the addition table of 2 equal numbers, which is none other than the 2 times table. Given that the pupils already know this, by way of this will help the pupils understand the idea of multiplication, not because we tell them, but because they will deduce it themselves. Looking at the multiplication table, they will ask themselves, for example, what is 2 times 5? When the child responds positively, he or she will have begun to understand the idea of multiplication. Following this, the pupil will visualize what he or she has previously captured and understood by himself or herself, the word times. Following this, the child will be taught that we abbreviate times by writing X. We have not started by studying the 1 times table, because it will always be easier for a child to understand the concept of 2 times something than 1 times something, which is itself. We will take advantage of the 1 times table to introduce now the commutative property. Following this, they will learn the headings of the multiplication tables and color association to strengthen visual memory, continuing with the rest of the tables and revision exercises. In short, the objective of quick multiply is to provide parents, pupils, and teachers with an instrument which allows them to use the commutative property not only as a rescue method against errors in memorizing, but as a starting point for learning and comprehension of the multiplication tables. If you wish to contact us, you can do so through our webpage.